Hello and welcome back to Ben and Mike's Film Room. And we just saw Captain Marvel.
Yeah, we did. We just watched it in theaters, and
Only a few days ago, and now
it's been less than 48 hours.
and now Endgame is only 1 week away,
That's true. We're releasing this the week before because they come out in chronological order.
and it won't be out in any form of media for home release by the time Endgame comes out
So this may be your only interaction.
with our thoughts on the film.
That's true. So, before we go anywhere,
What is our history with the film?
that's true.
That's something we've been doing, right?
Yeah, every movie. But
Yeah, there was some controversy.
go ahead.
Yeah, there was some controversy. She said something about what's her name, Brie Larson. She said something about there being I think I'm butchering this, but there were a lot of male reviewers or something. It wasn't equal and
yeah,
something there.
so
but
in the wave of interviewers, she had commented in the past and this wave also that it's almost exclusively white men, and so she wanted it to be more diverse, and I guess the way it was said, it put a lot of people off. And so there was quite a review bomb of
yeah, I remember.
Rotten Tomatoes, and so much so that Disney got them to pull the feature,
No,
so you couldn't even say you didn't want to watch it?
no, Rotten Tomatoes pulled that feature.
Well, I'm assuming that...
No.
Just saying.
Maybe they asked for something. I don't know. But now they're doing, like...
So that's
they-
our prep for
yeah.
the movie.
Are they home?
Let's jump in to the basic plot.
Yeah, so the movie... the plot is that there's a war between Kree and... the Krees and the Skrulls. Skrulls being shapeshifters who can take on the appearance of any humanoid.
And Krees being humans that happen to bleed blue.
Bleed blue?
Bleed blue.
I thought you meant to say be blue, but also that is also correct.
Aren't they also blue? Most of them are blue. Except for
No,
Jude Law.
because the lady bleeds blue and she's a Skrull. Also, spoilers.
She's not a Skrull, she was a Kree.
No.
Lawson?
Yeah.
She's Kree.
Okay.
She just...
Not Larson.
I said Lawson.
Brie Larson? Brie Lawson.
No, not Brie Larson, the actress. Professor Lawson, her human alias for the Kree scientist.
Oh, okay. I thought
That's
she
where I
was.
was going.
I got the impression that she was a Skrull during the movie.
She definitely sided with them.
Okay, but
Did we mention this was a spoiler-filled review?
yes, I said spoilers.
Okay. The whole point is that it's important for us to actually talk about the plot in order to give a thorough review of a movie.
Yes. So, yeah, there's a war between the Kree and the Skrulls, and
Boy, those shapeshifters are shifty characters.
that one was weak by even your standards, Ben.
Wow. Harsh.
But
So it begins with, like, a dream scenario, and she wakes up, and she's with...
sorry, the wind did that.
It begins with a dream scenario, and she wakes up and has one of those training training fight scenes with her sensei, and they talk about it, and how she needs to learn to control her emotions.
Kind of reminded me of that sort of fight scene in Pacific Rim, where they're, like, the main character is training to find a new pilot with them, and they have to fight together.
Yeah. So they're going back and forth. She gets sent on a special mission along with Jude Law.
With her team, the Star Force, I believe.
Star Force?
Yeah, I think. So, fairly generic. Very generic name.
Well, they do have a star on their chest.
Yes.
And they all go.
Which they can change at will.
That's important later. But
okay,
they
continue.
go and they try to save a person, but just kidding, it was a trap. They, like, capture her, and her name is Veers at this point.
Yes.
So they capture Veers, and they're trying to read her mind, but it's all making no sense to even them. And she's like, "Those aren't my memories," because she can't remember her past. So.
Oh yeah, it's a really cool scene. They're like, okay, go back. Like, they're trying to search
for the details is what you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean it's like it's like I don't know, CSI. You're like, wait, rewind the video. Wait, enhance, focus.
It was actually kind of cool that they could direct her to look at the thing. They're like, look at the numbers.
Yeah, it's kind of
like,
it's a mixture of like the CSI thing plus Inception.
I would say also Minority Report.
I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen Minority Report?
No, I haven't seen Minority Report. Did that have Tom Cruise?
It did.
Oh.
And
I've seen Eagle Eye. That's the same movie, isn't it?
So not the same. Oh, man.
Oh.
So she's on this mission, or she's been captured. She uses her hand glowy powers to escape. She crashes into Earth.
Not yet. First, she can't break through. She can't break out of her glove, so she just starts hitting people with her gloved metal hands.
It was a great escape scene, I thought, because you could see the power like burst out of the back of it, but it wasn't strong enough to go through the thing.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, I guess it would be the equivalent of, I don't know, the Captain America shield, how it can technically absorb everything. Like,
yeah.
Like, the concept of something absorbing impact is what this kind of, is what I imagined that being, sort of.
Yeah, and it was very realistic. Like, I totally bought into the fact that it could contain her temporarily. But she charged through it, burned a big hole.
Because also
punched a hole in space.
Yes. But also she, in this movie, she had this little chip on her neck, which they only show like once or twice in the whole movie.
Well, at the very beginning,
at the beginning and at the end,
they say, "Oh, this power is given to you, and it
can
can
also be taken away." Which, I want to talk about the thing we didn't expect in this movie later, even though this is a spoiler review.
Yes, that's fair. Gotta make sense. Put
Pacing
things together that makes sense. So she gets into Earth, she crashes into Blockbuster. Oh, nostalgia.
Oh, 90s low. 90s low. Fresh Prince low.
They reference Fresh Prince. All the songs are super popular 90s songs.
Yeah.
Including the way too on the nose I'm Just a Girl from No Doubt.
I forget that song. How did that go? Do the tune. Do it.
I'm just a girl in the world.
All I got is that song by ABBA. You can dance, you can.
That is not.
I know it's not, but that's the only song that comes to mind.
So, she's chasing down the Skrull. She modifies a payphone and calls in and says, "Hey, I'm on the hunt." Blah blah. They
somehow.
Well, she can go to Radio Shack. And her suit plus that stuff can send the signal.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen it, since it's been out like for about 2 months at this point of putting a podcast out, and you haven't seen it again, she lands in like the middle of the night. Probably not in the middle of the night, considering there's a police guy on duty.
Oh, we're talking about the time?
Yes, because then, like, the next scene, it's in the daytime, and she's still working on the phone. So did she also break into Radio Shack and the cop didn't do anything?
The security guard was the worst.
Not a security guard. Full-on cop.
He was not a full-on cop.
Yes, he was. Security guarding what? Like the outdoor... Like
that mall. And he said, "Oh, the mall has a different guy."
That was not a mall.
It was a strip mall.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, strip mall is just a series of stores on a single strip.
So what? We have like 6 strip malls in our town?
Yeah, that's kind of how it's built, yeah.
Wow. I never knew that's what it was. Anyway.
So, she's still there, waiting forever. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., our pals Nick Fury and Phil Coulson appear.
Leave that in.
That's not going to stay in.
Leave it!
No!
I will make reference to it later.
No. So, Nick Fury and Phil Coulson appear, and...
They're all young.
They look great! Oh man, the technology is great. I am super impressed with it. They clearly put a huge amount of the budget into making this thing
I dare say almost all of it.
Yeah, I mean, based on the other CGI, it looked like all the budget went to this.
Yeah, I mean...
In particular, Samuel L. Jackson.
Yes, because Coulson isn't in it that much, but... oh my gosh. It's like the best CGI ever. like for de-aging.
The face work,
It used to,
I could not tell at all. It was amazing, which is great.
Which is the point of CGI, to
We're
not
gonna
notice
sound
it.
so dated later, but I'm just saying I'm genuinely impressed.
Okay, now look at this, and then look at Tarkin from Rogue One.
Oh man,
Like, I like that, but this is
hey,
nothing.
that was
compared.
impressive.
It was,
but that was a deep fake also.
yes.
So it's a
But-
little different, whereas it's their own face. They
Even
just clean up.
even compared to other MCU movies,
Like Guardians of the Galaxy 2,
I'm with that.
in the very beginning, that was really good.
Yeah, but yes,
But
it was
not as good as this.
No,
This
like
was great.
also what's his name? Hank Pym. Yeah, Hank Pym in Ant-Man. He also had this face. Like, it was
You mean Ant-Man and the Wasp?
no, the first one.
Oh.
We haven't recorded all 20. We haven't recorded the rest of these at this point.
Yeah, we'll have to remember later, but...
Yes, in the future.
So,
remember.
this is far and away the best face de-aging...
The best Benjamin Button
Yes.
Technology.
The best Benjamin Button there's been
before.
ever seen.
Best
So,
booty.
we see them. We lead on a wild chase of the Skrull. The fabulous moment where they have where Veers fights an old lady.
We can call her.
I'm gonna keep her name
We can call her Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel. So Captain Marvel is fighting this old woman, which she somehow can tell based on personality traits. That we know one of the guns can tell the difference between Skrull
I don't think
and.
so.
Well, it looked like it could.
We've only
But-
seen it once at this point, so
Like, how can you tell them apart? They copy everything down to the DNA.
yeah.
They don't have long-term past memories, but they do have the short-term memory. So,
And
it was pretty interesting.
like he was,
but the train scene.
but also at that train scene, wonderful Stan Lee cameo.
Yes, they at the very beginning of the movie, something I totally forgot about. During the
yeah.
Marvel intro,
It's-
instead of all the superheroes,
It's
it was
all
just
Stan Lee.
all Stan Lee's cameos,
I don't think. Yeah, it was,
and
and
it said "Thank you, Stan."
and like also at our theater, there were no trailers either, so there was no lead up into this either at all. It was
And honestly, I had no idea it was coming.
neither
didn't
neither
know it
did
was
I.
coming.
That honestly might be one of the best surprises of the movie. Like, I mean, yeah, because the thing is, like, he's reading a script, I think. And I theorized, like, I watched this guy on YouTube named Cosmonaut Variety Hour, and he's like, this is one of my childhood favorite video games, and it was Spider-Man for the PS1. And in that game, you get a narration by Stan Lee.
I'm
Now-
sorry, I'm gonna Google it. I bet the internet already knows the answer.
It-
It's one of his very first cameos because the movie is set in 1995, and
Ah.
it's referencing the 1995 movie Mallrats. So it's like, hey, do you remember the 90s?
But he's also an interdimensional being
Yes, they reference that
in Guardians too.
in Guardians 2, so that's a fun time. But
But yeah, I wanted to, yeah. But yeah, so
I think we thought it was from that Spider-Man game, though.
yeah, because
So-
that game has an opening monologue from Stanley. But yeah, so we continue on. There's a fight scene in on the train.
Coulson, it turns out, is not with Nick Fury in the car.
yeah.
Oh,
And
it's
I will
a Skrull.
And I will admit that was this whole thing is that's a cool thing.
Agreed. It was super neat to actually see them do their thing rather than
The
just
shapeshift.
Yeah.
Yeah, because honestly, parts of it kind of look like a balloon, like in the mid shift. But that's really not a problem. It's just a weird thing that I notice. But yeah. Also, do they shapeshift the clothes? I don't think that they do. They do shapeshift some of
They
the
do
clothes,
shapeshift
but at the
clothes.
same time, when the Coulson scroll happened, he still had a suit on.
Yeah.
So what happens if they lose a shoe?
I don't know. How do shoes fit? Do they have shoe sizes?
N-
What's
they-
going on? There's so many questions.
Also, why
that are
don't other
unanswered.
scrolls shapeshift into other scrolls, you know? Wouldn't that kind of save on, like, protecting the government, like, the high... Like, we later find out that they are kind of, like... They aren't the bad guys, later,
Yeah.
but at this point I was thinking, why wouldn't a high-ranking scroll person, you know, shaped into, like, a lower janitor, you know?
So they don't get captured and stuff like that?
Yeah, like the little frog-looking scrolls on the ship. They were like, "Oh no, hands up! We won't do anything. Sorry, we'll get out of your way."
Yeah, they did feel like the grunts from Halo, the little...
Yeah, those little things.
That was
They
the
looked
best
like
explanation.
monkeys plus mogwai.
Wow, Mogwai.
Got it.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, we're all done here.
Yep, that's
Good,
it,
we're
we did
done.
it. Ah, good times.
4 out of 2.
Wow. So
Best score?
they capture the thing. What is it? Captain Marvel steals a motorcycle on a search to find.
Because a man was being sexist.
Might
No,
as well steal his
misogynistic?
motorcycle. Both? Those are the same.
I don't think
Really?
they are.
I think they are.
Then why are they different words?
Because different word origins? They just got there? I don't know.
I'll let you die on this hill. So yeah, she drives off to
The bar. To the only thing she remembered was the name of that bar. After she very tediously Googled it. Or Yahoo
Oh yes, she
searched
goes.
it.
As soon as I saw her on that computer, I'm like, please, let it be a public library, and
Oh,
it
man.
was. Like, I didn't grow up in the '90s. I was born in '99, but I'm realistic. I know that doesn't count. But
Only real 90s kids will remember.
excuse me, I too had Foursquare.
Just saying.
Yeah. But yeah, that is the reference. That is like yeah, she's very unfamiliar, so she's just like doing one finger typing. Even on the mouse, she doesn't hold it like we do. She just clicks the mouse like it's a button.
It was great.
I'm doing a visual thing right now. You can't see
the
it.
visual gag is great in the pod.
Yes. Hoping your earballs can see this. Instead of your
Yes.
eyeballs, your
Yeah,
earballs.
I like that. Let's keep it.
Well, I'm stealing it from another podcast I listen to.
Oh, never mind.
It's been around
still
for
good,
years.
It's just
You know what I say? Stealing, the greatest form of flattery.
yes, very true. So speaking of stealing, she goes and steals the motorcycle,
Eh.
rides to the bar. Memories are flashing back.
Nick
and
Fury's
then Nick
there.
Fury appears again. They have a good sit down. They talk about what's going on, and they decide to go to the secret organization location to get extra info using
Is that
Nick Fury's
S.H.I.E.L.D.?
access.
That's S.H.I.E.L.D., isn't it?
No, they use his shield rank to get in, but it appears to not be shield.
Yeah, which made me think on our drive home from the movie, like, I thought the S.H.I.E.L.D. at this point was like a Men in Black organization where they're not really known.
I don't know. They were kind of all over the place with that.
Yeah. So,
So she discovers the truth that she used to be here, and so she goes and sees Rambo. her
wait.
friend.
Let's not forget Goose the cat.
Goose the cat is found, and
We're more dog people.
Yeah, they're Flarkins. It's a
Flarkin.
Flarkin,
Flarkin,
right?
not Flarkin. How
Flarkin.
dare you? That's a slur in there, people.
Yeah. So she goes and sees her old best friend, and all these pieces are together, and then the Skrull appear. Well, they've been chasing them, but they appear, and the truth comes out.
They're good guys.
They're the good
They're
guys.
the persecuted because they wouldn't join the Kree Empire.
Yep, standard fare.
Yeah.
The old one.
The Great
old-
Intelligence.
The old switcheroo.
The oldest switcheroo. The good, the bad being good, and the good bad.
Yep. So, but the downside was I don't.
Ronan.
Like, we probably should wait till we do a more thorough, like, the feelings on the movie, but it, like, once the truth is known, they'd jump all in, they're gonna go, and they get the Tesseract on the flying spaceship, and she unlocks her true potential by breaking the thing on the neck,
yeah.
fights a bunch of people, I'm Just a Girl in the World plays.
And it
And
basically
she
becomes
can-
a good. At that point, I believe it's a good Green Lantern film.
That's not an unfair assessment, I think.
Like, she's flying around, she destroyed everything. Like, oh my gosh. It did have, at that point, it looked... Okay. Also, the CGI, like, I'm fairly certain that all the amount of CGI, all the fields of computers they must have had to process young Samuel L. Jackson face, you know?
That's true. They totally put all their money into that and almost none into the scene where she's free falling down to Earth.
Yeah.
That is just so...
Like, you can clearly tell it's CGI. And
the same thing with Goose as they fly off into space.
Yeah, that, and basically almost any time they're using the cat.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, any time the cat isn't walking on the ground or sitting, it's almost CGI.
Yeah, and it's...
Give or take.
It's okay most of the time, but it's also very noticeable.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta cut corners at some point because you're doing Samuel L. Jackson's face the whole time.
And for me, CGI really isn't a like, bad CGI isn't really a problem. Like, we haven't recorded Black Panther yet, but the CGI in that movie, you could definitely notice it at times.
Yeah. I mean, but there's other times when it's really great.
Yeah.
And so, you just have to make a decision. I think to conclude the plot scenario, though, which took much longer than normal, she unlocks her true potential.
It only took 20 minutes.
Yeah. She unlocked her true potential. She's full-on savior of the scroll. And...
Oh yeah, let's not forget she absorbed... Okay, you know what?
Yeah, she absorbed the power of the Tesseract.
The
so that's how she has her full power potential thing. And now she's going to go and save a bunch of Skrull, but she leaves the pager, which is the connection to the
Infinity War.
The Infinity War connection. And that's pretty much the movie.
I mean,
the basic outline of it, anyway.
I mean, there's that mid-credit scene, which I think we both figure that will be in Endgame.
Totally.
Yeah, it's like they're seeing everyone. They see like the body count still rising, like, or the missing. At that point, I don't know.
Yeah.
And eventually, like, the pager just runs out, and at that second, like, they turn around, and where's Fury? Cut to black.
And it did get me excited for Endgame.
Yes.
So, major character development. Obviously, it's Veers, right? No other character really got any play. Maybe
Nick Fury got some.
Maybe Nick Fury, yeah.
Like, I've heard that it's possible that she will have better, like... Also, at this point, we still haven't... Like, as of recording this, we still haven't had a second trailer to Endgame. So maybe she'll feature in that. Who knows? You probably do. Listening.
That's very true.
You probably do.
It's the people who already are in the future.
But...
Or in the current.
The now present. Is that she works best... Like, she has good rapport with Fury in this movie. You know?
Yeah.
Like, which probably means she'll have good back and forth with, like, the other Avengers.
Yeah. I mean, Nick Fury's character, like, opening up to her and, like, being willing to go with the flow on this thing and, make it all work is pretty interesting, I guess, but I don't know if the banter is going to really be that interesting because Veers, Carol...
Her acting? Yes, her name is Carol Danvers.
Carol Danvers.
What was it? What did we read? That she had, like, 2 middle names?
The Wikipedia says...
Carol Joseph Johansson. Carol
Susan Jane Danvers.
Yep.
To say that her character really moved, I think the problem was a lot of things happened to her character, but she didn't really change. Like, her personality never got adjusted. She was pretty much the same person throughout the whole thing. She just, like, got her memories back.
Yeah.
Which you think would change a person.
Well, yeah.
I think that's the main reason I think this movie isn't as strong as it could have been. There's a couple of moments in the movie in particular where the performance is a little underwhelming. But first,
I
definitely want to talk about the overarching character arc there was a really great moment at the very beginning. They're saying, oh, you've got to control your emotions. But that's the opposite of the lesson of the movie. The real lesson of the movie is that
Embrace emotion?
you are to embrace your whole self and be your strongest person.
That's interesting. That's also I think that's the motivation of Peter Petrelli in Heroes, which you haven't seen.
It's
Not
true.
even the first season, people.
It's true. I'm an embarrassment. So, crud, I'm gonna pull this humming and hawing out. The character arc in general for her is discovering who I am. That I've stood up a bunch of times when I fell down, and that means I don't need this inhibitor on my neck.
Women,
I am
go
now strong.
women!
No, it wasn't that bad. I
felt this movie
internet hyped it up to
I do
be of that thing, and it only went
Are you
there
kidding me?
like
The
twice.
trailers also hyped it up. You know
I'm
why?
just saying,
Because the trailer's like, it's time for a new hero. It starts out with her, and then has hero.
Wow.
I'm not saying that's a negative, people.
No,
In fact, let me spoil it. I actually enjoyed this movie quite a bit. I'll probably watch it a second time.
I mean, there's one moment in particular when she's like full powered and she's just like cheering for herself, and she happens to blow through a spaceship at that exact same time.
Yeah, it's.
I was super excited for that.
Like, me personally, I love like OP characters having fun, because as like Kevin Feige has said that she is the most powerful person in the MCU. Character in the MCU as of this point.
But you have to think the movie most likely
Because remember that
downgraded her power in total, if you think about it.
Well, I'm saying
So
Kevin Feige
I believe
said
in the comic you're
No. Kevin Feige said in the movie she is the most powerful.
What? Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Because she absorbed the powers of an Infinity Stone.
But it wasn't the full power of the Infinity Stone.
Are you
it
sure?
Was the core of the engine was getting its power remotely from the Tesseract.
That doesn't make any sense.
I agree. So the Tesseract was in space at the time,
in a Fonzie lunchbox,
and which it did not burn through.
Yeah,
we have to address that.
As far as I can tell, it only burns through the first Avenger, which makes that a plot hole.
I think maybe it burns through it because it had just sent the guy to space.
Whatever.
I'm looking for.
Who cares
it doesn't
at this
really
point?
matter.
It doesn't matter. Who cares about retcons? X-Men do it all the time.
That's true. They had a whole movie dedicated to retcon.
And they screwed it up in the next one.
Well, maybe Phoenix.
No.
I'm just saying maybe.
I've heard terrible things.
Well, it hasn't come out yet. How could it? I'm just saying, Dark Phoenix.
You don't understand. Moving on.
So, the power feature is really fun, but there's no way she's strong enough to be the most strong character when she's getting like 3 degrees away. Unless there's some weird fluke and they say, oh, it's over half of the power of the Power Stone was absorbed. It doesn't make a ton of sense that she's the most powerful Marvel character based on the movie.
I mean, it's like saying, oh, let's... Okay, I will admit it's dumb, but visually, I enjoy what it does visually, you know?
And she is insanely strong because of how she just totally
She catches
wrecks
that missile,
all of the ships,
which is piloted by Ronan. Not piloted, but Ronan is technically in this movie. He has
weird face because he doesn't have his black.
He doesn't have his black stuff on. He doesn't have his eyeliner yet. But he's a glorified cameo in this movie.
Yep.
As
Could
much
have been absolutely anything else.
It's like the equivalent of Darth Maul in Solo, basically, except a little longer.
Well, for time, yeah, but the plot of it also didn't do much to the plot because he left because he wanted to come back at another time to get her, but just kidding, he dies before that.
How about this? There's going to be a sequel set in early 2000s in space, and it's going to have Ronan in it.
Well,
Wonder Woman's doing the same thing where it's still in the past.
It is?
Yeah, it's going to be 1984.
And really, there's no point for it to be this far in the past.
90s?
Yeah, no point.
Really?
What does it add?
Continuity.
I mean, as long as it's before Iron Man, it doesn't matter which one it is.
Well, then what? What would you prefer?
Well, I'm just saying, you don't have to do...
Cell phones. It's always the cell phone thing, Ben.
It's always the cell phone thing.
You can't have cell phones.
It's
true. I mean, I always like that. It always makes... Whatever you think about this movie, it makes people work harder for a movie. You can't have that as the excuse. Like, oh, why didn't they just use their cell phones? Well, they didn't... That wasn't a public... That wasn't an everyday thing back then.
Yeah. So, let's get into the additional stuff we like. So we loved the part where she just went all out and was blowing stuff up.
Yes. I kind of liked the... I'm not going to say it's like, oh, it's in my top 5, but I enjoyed the costume changes with the daughter.
Oh, where they were cycling through all of them?
Yeah, I like that. I wish it was like in like the living room where you could where there'd be
With,
like a light.
actual lighting?
Yeah. Like so you could actually see it a bit more, but which I think, I can't remember, but I think I mentioned this towards the beginning. Why is it allowed to change color? Why is it allowed to? Like, unless it's like a ranking thing in universe. Like, oh, I am general now. I'm now blue and brown.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And they do bring it up like it's offensive. Like, Jude Law is like, what have you done to your uniform?
Yeah, but like, you have it on too!
It's like, it's not a
even,
feature. It's a
yeah,
clearly
it's not even like
defined feature.
It's not even like a camouflage thing,
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Like, if it was a camouflage thing, that would make more sense.
Yeah.
But,
well,
we enjoyed that. We enjoyed the space thing. I enjoyed the part where she held on to a missile and then threw it back.
Oh, yeah, it was cool. It was, like, very Missile Command-ish, though, and how all the bombs exploded, like...
Yeah, launching all the missiles at once. Fire everything!
Well, as he said, he didn't expect them to have a defense system to stop that missile attack.
But they did.
Yeah, it was her.
And it was a woman.
Oh, my goodness. So, overall, the friend was fabulous. The best friend was a big help to the character and adding, like, flesh to it, like, really making it real, because she was very real. Like, I felt a lot of heart coming from her.
I had to go to the bathroom when she was first introduced, so I don't feel that.
But she, like, I think the main issue with the whole movie, and it may be a nitpick, it may not be, but is the acting. Our primary hero, Captain Marvel,
Brie Larson
was just wooden, I felt. Like, there's a particular moment that it was just super obvious. She's talking to Skrill, nice guy.
Skrillex.
Talos.
Talking to Skrillex.
He's talking to Skrillex.
Skrillex.
And friend
Ben Mendelsohn, I think
and
is the name.
Samuel L. Jackson's all there, and she's like, "Oh, I don't know this, I don't know that, I don't even know who I am anymore." That line, it was just delivered so flat.
I don't even know who I am anymore.
You're like, what? There were so many different choices that could have been made. She could have said it under her breath. She could have been angry about it. She could have done anything, but it was just a flat choice. I don't know if that was by design and I'm supposed to read into it, but it was hard. I think her character is inconsistent. A lot of times she's, very focused on what she's up to, but when she decides to fight now, she gets, like, sassy and, like, starts making jokes and stuff only when she fights. Every other time, almost zero jokes. Like, no humor anywhere except in the fight scenes. Like, can't be Spider-Man.
I mean, Samuel L. Jackson has a few, like, evens out that with comedic moments.
That's true. I mean, he is a lot lighter.
Does he have any pets in the MCU canon?
I don't think so.
Yeah, because I was wondering, he likes the cat, but I'm wondering, would he... That also... gets his eye scratched out by a cat.
Lame. Boo. That's like an actual boo moment.
Yeah.
Why? Didn't they say in the
Winter Soldier.
in Winter Soldier, the time he trusted somebody.
The last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye.
I mean, I know he lies. That's kind of one of his things.
Yeah, because also they
But-
said, is it true that you lost your eye in a battle between a Skrull and such and such?
It's like, I cannot confirm.
I can neither confirm nor deny that. And it's like, but we know, okay, to me, this is my midichlorians. Like, some people can't unknow midichlorians. I can't unknow that he got his eye scratched out by a cat.
It's just so dumb. It doesn't matter. Like, why even include it? It would have been a better twist if they just didn't include it.
It would have been...
Because he gets hurt in the car accident above the eye, and it's okay. And that's it. If they had just gone around it, it would have been way, way better.
Then again, that wouldn't have lined up with what they said. What they ended up doing doesn't really line up either, I'm just saying.
Yeah, neither do. So they could have done a lot of things. I think it would have been good if they had had the cat scratch, but it just left the cat scratch marks, and then he loses the eye later.
Because, from what I know in the comics, he lost his eye from, like, a grenade. Which, it was
That's
just,
weird.
like, it was just a war wound.
Makes
And
sense.
also, I think in the Ultimate comics, which is what the MCU is kind of based on, like the modern characters, well, it's actually, this is very different because Samuel L. Jackson's, Nick Fury.
To wrap the whole thing up, I will say that, in general, it was fun.
Yes.
I think it was a little patchy in its application of what it was going for. If it was doing the, like the stereotypical girl power option, it did not apply it heavily enough for me to really bite into that. There were a couple of moments where you're like, oh, I see that happening, I see it happening. But other times it's just, let's have fun in space. And then other times it's something else.
Yeah. This is more of like a nitpick that doesn't really matter. It's that when she was doing the free fall before, and like, oh, we all know she's gonna fly, But how crazy of a thought is that? Oh, I just released all my power. I will myself to fly.
It makes zero sense. It's true. I don't even know how you would know you could fly.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's very confusing. I do have to say, to give it a lot of credit, the Jude Law final fight was a treat. So it's like, now's the moment when you and I fight and you can show control of yourself. And he's like
screw on her!
Yeah, it was just like, well, clearly he had screwed on her when he had forcibly had her memories wiped to be replaced by a Skrull instead of himself, and all that business.
Also,
So,
I was also disappointed by the fact that there was... Not disappointed, I'm just saying I wanted a Peter Quill cameo, like a young Peter Quill.
Totally could have been done.
Yeah, I mean,
they had a Ronan cameo.
yeah, and I mean, they're out in space, it's the 90s, he was abducted at like 12 or something.
You could do something real lame, like the ship flies past in space.
Yeah, you could have even had Yondu.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, Yondu and them fly by once. That's it.
Oh wait, that's the part where they could have like taunted him about like trying to eat him, like how they do in the first Guardians.
Oh, wow.
You said they were gonna eat me. That was being funny. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed it. I would watch it again just to be sure.
Yeah, maybe after a single watch, it doesn't give you enough. I don't feel like this really gets me hyped for Endgame. I think it's just like, hey, remember this end credit scene? We're going to tie that up right now. Unless she comes in and is way more powerful, seeing what I saw, there's no way she could take Thanos on right now.
Okay. Narratively speaking, like, we can't go... Okay, with Endgame, you can't go with just Captain Marvel saving the day. You just introduce her, it'd feel cheap. You would either have to go with Captain America or Iron Man.
Yeah,
like
I'm
defeating
expecting a
Thanos.
self-sacrifice of one of those characters.
Someone needs to deal the final blow, and it has to be one of those two.
Totally agree.
Um,
So really, this movie is not. It feels like it is in adding the character to the universe, but it's not. Like, the timing doesn't really matter. They could have done this earlier in the phase with no issues at all, and we'd say, oh, I guess they didn't include her in the
Infinity?
in Infinity War. They're like, huh. I mean, I
Well,
guess
she was
that
originally
happens.
supposed to. There was a draft where she appeared in Age of Ultron.
Yeah, see, there's a lot of options, and you kind of have to pick and choose because there's a lot to do. So I'm fine with it taking this long. I kind of wish it had come out instead of Ant-Man and
The Wasp.
the Wasp. I mean, the Ant-Man and the Wasp did a really cool thing
And they did.
later on, but
And they did set. And relatively recently, Kevin Feige has said that the quantum realm will be very important to the future of the MCU.
yeah, so maybe that's by design, whatever.
Yeah.
But I will say that I don't, like, having only seen a single Endgame trailer, I don't
And,
feel like her part is
yeah.
going to be as critical as everyone was hoping.
Yeah, but.
What do
Yeah.
you think?
Well, I think that. Well, I might have just enjoyed it because it's a new character that we haven't seen in any prior movie. Like, we saw Black Panther in Civil War, and we saw Spider-Man in Civil War too. So, it doesn't feel like this is the first one in a while that we finally feel like, wow, this is a new character. You know? So maybe I'm feeling really good on the movie because of that newness,
I mean,
you know?
plus we're still coming down from how good the Infinity War was.
Yeah. Like,
I mean,
Like,
so it
when
still
I
is
saw-
fresh. It's
yeah.
very fresh. It's, it may take some time for our true feelings to percolate forward and present themselves.
dribble
but
out.
Yes, dribble out also, is how people say. I mean, some say percolate, some
Is
say
it-
dribble out. So, I think if I had to give this a number rating, I think I would give it probably a 7 loading CD screens out of 10. Mostly because it was just fine. It was just fine. There wasn't any moment where I was like, wow, this is a great movie. Except for Samuel L. Jackson's beautiful face.
yes. I would give it a 7 out of 10 as well. 7 out of 10 replacement eyes.
No, man, those were so gross in the mid.
They look just like contacts, though.
I know, that's the whole point.
I thought,
think you
if
just-
anything, I thought it would have been a glass eye.
Well, then you need a whole new eye. Doesn't he have like a grayed out?
Yeah,
Eye
he
thing?
does, but
I
yeah,
guess Fluken,
Fluken.
Floop.
Why? Wait a minute. Why would he need a different? Why would he need a different?
Eye color?
Yeah, because of his other eye. Why would it just be the same color?
I don't know. There were like a bunch of different options.
Oh
Like,
my gosh!
Now's my chance to go with a different left eye.
Time to look like an anime.
Finally, you're a main character when.
But yep. So
The final piece. We're
One-
ready now.
one more movie. See you next time when we finally reach our destination of Endgame.
Goodbye.